you know,
as opposed to being, I mean, it's a black hole at Team Santa Rosa. We have no idea what that money produces, but it's been millions.
You know, and of course they just completed their most recent audit, and you know, Deborah, we weren't friends. We really didn't know each other at the time. I'd started pressing about when are you going to do an audit, and it really came down to a big showdown because Deborah had written stories where I had asked the year before, when are you going to do an audit of this?
Yes.
And Commissioner Don Salter wanted to say, well, no, it's at the end of this year when it was doing it, and I actually read from the newspaper the story. But here's the sad thing about the audit. Now, other people define it differently. As a taxpayer, I believe an audit should be done by an outside accounting firm. I do not believe an audit should be done by your day-to-day accountant for your business.
Or a member of Team Santa Rosa.
Or a member of Team Santa Rosa. And the reason I say that is because the audits that we have done is nothing more than the county gave you $600,000, you spent $600,000, and there's no money left in the fund. That's just a simple accounting of how you spent the money. That's not an audit of your activities, what you've accomplished and all that. And I just firmly believe that there needs to be an audit by an outside agency. Hey, Mary Johnson, she has auditors in there.
She said she's ready and willing and able.
Yeah, I mean, for goodness sakes, let's just have some level of requirements. Accomplish something. You know,
that would be nice.
I mean, you know, and they're gonna stand before. See, I didn't let them get away with it last year over the $180,000 that they were slipping from the general fund. I got out in front of that one and beat that one on web pages and talked to people and talked about it on the radio. And they weren't able to use that. You know, it'll be interesting to see what they do this year because you know, they'll probably try the same thing again. But you know, look, the budget process, like I said in the beginning, ladies and gentlemen, it's overbearing. They make it hard on themselves. We got people that's making $80,000 to $125,000 a year that are in charge of these departments, whether they're elected or department heads. They're grown-ups. You need to tell them what they get this year. This whole shooting match should be handled as soon as the state tells us, and as soon as Greg Brown tells us, and when the state tells us what our kick-in from theirs is, then give them their marching orders. It ought to be cleared up in 3 weeks and move on and get back to productive stuff. Look, we had so many requests over the Tax Day Tea Party. And because Deborah shot a great deal of videotape at the two events. So what we're going to leave you, the rest of the show is going to be a few of those clips that Deborah shot. And we hope you enjoyed them. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get involved full bore and take this country back. And once again, we're glad that you found us. I'm Jerry Cooley.
I'm Deborah Nelson. Good night.
Good night.
This nation that we live in. However, as I look at our nation today, I see there's an example in the Old Testament of that really kind of, it talks about what we see happening.
I don't know the percentage, but I would say 70 to 80% of Americans back last fall said, no bailout. Do you hear us, Washington? They ignored us.
That's right.
And as it's already said, the Constitution clearly states the federal government is to have a minimum focus with regard to governing. The states and the people are supposed to hold the power. It's been turned upside down. We have seen literally before our eyes unimaginable corruption and incompetence by American leadership, printing money we don't have, bailing out failures, unprotected borders, illegal aliens by the millions, laws ignored, Constitution dishonored, on and on and on. You know what? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see what is going on. That the Constitution basically is being pushed aside. Why? Because it holds elected leaders accountable. And that is not in the plan today. Now, I just ask you, do you share my disgust? Just totally fed up with the taking apart of our Constitution and our nation?
Yes.
Unbelievable incompetence. It's unbelievable that leadership at the level of our nation is purposefully betraying us. Now, it boils down to two variables as I see it, and it's my opinion. In government today, it's power and greed. Now, some politicians just cannot get enough of either one.
That's right.
It's more and more and more power. It's egocentric issues. It seems that we the people are useful at election time to support the power seekers, but merely irritants after that.
That's right.
We're rule of no consequence basically until the next election. Now that doesn't happen amongst all of our leaders, but for the most part, for the majority, that is exactly what's happening, because that's why we're going in the direction we're going. The deceivers, the manipulators, they're in the face of America with promises, but when we say no, they view us with disdain. And the question just comes down to who's really in charge. Is it the way the Constitution says it's supposed to be? We the people, the states, sovereign entities? Or is it the federal government?
Do you think that our previous and current misguided administrations should be bailing out the financial irresponsibility of the World Bank, the UN, the irresponsible financial institutions, corporations, and our own irresponsible citizens?
No.
Neither do I. Should responsible American citizens, their children, their grandchildren, be saddled with such a tremendous tax burden to pay for such ill-advised bailouts?
No.
Neither do I.
But you see my poster. Looks just like that.
Never went out? I think so.
Just changed.
Here we go, y'all. We'll start with, y'all come on up and put your tea in the harbor. Now, there's no swimming or no fishing because of cow slobbers.
Done with social